Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you do not know me, hi, my name is Patrick and this is my art account, and currently right now we are doing Isatober, and this is the prompt medium list that I am using. It is a prompt that is provided on Instagram, which is always linked down below, but to give myself a little bit more of a challenge, I would give myself a list and I would roll a 20D, and whatever medium I had to use only that. So today we're going to be doing ink only, just black ink, which was actually a little bit more challenging than I thought, considering it's Galaxy and what I had in mind was a really bright and colorful thing. And really quick, I want to apologize if the editing seems a little weird or if it jumps a little bit too ahead or anything. The biggest reason why I had to do that was there was something that was always either time consuming or I was not in frame when I was filming it, so I kind of had to cut the footage of that. So if it seems like it's a little bit jumpy here and there, that's the why. There was really no way for me to work around that until I saw it, so I apologize. But continuing on, since it was Galaxy and I was using black ink only, I decided to go back to what I really like to draw, which was my Zentangle patterns. If you remember my art from January and February, I did like this mood tracker thing where it was a lot of, you know, for instance, if I was sad and depressed, it was moons. If I was happy, it was a sun. And I really had a lot of days where it was either those, so I really got to focusing on just drawing those. So I decided to draw a sun and a moon. And at the time of me starting this day, I had only decided to do just one page. And the longer I was working on it, it felt really crowded, which is why later into the video, it gets put into 2 pages for the spread. And this is me drawing out my cute little stars because while yes, I couldn't really do the Galaxy that I had envisioned, I wanted to try my best to quite catch the feeling that I wanted. I also had to be very careful about drawing on this page because on the back of it is another drawing, which was a ink only. So if I pressed a little too deep or anything, it would bleed onto the next page. So I had to be a little bit just careful with what I was going to do today. And as I was working on this page, I decided that I wanted to get back into a art style that I really like doing, which is Pointillism, or it's called stippling in the newer modern terms. And that is basically where you stab your paper, I don't know how many times, but it's quite a bit. And when I first started it, I thought it was going to be really great and I was going to get it done really quick. But if you know Pointillism, and I wanted it to be kind of dark and almost black to where you really wouldn't be able to see the background of it, it took forever. And I was about 15 minutes into filming all of this when I realized that, I wasn't going to be able to get it all done on camera. So this is me doing a little bit of a faster pace of this. And you can tell, as you notice, I'm not even in shot, my hand is covering all what I'm doing. So about halfway of me working on this, I decided that I'm going to cut my losses, and I turned off my camera, and I actually finished it. And just this, I love Pointillism, I do, because the artwork that is produced out of it, the result of it is always beautiful, but just, it is such a time-consuming project, and when you're trying to follow a 31-day challenge, that is not exactly the best idea to do, because this takes at least 2 to 3 days, and it's an overwhelmingly a lot of work just for such a small spread. I thought it wasn't going to be that massive of a thing to do, but it was the biggest thing that I had to do on this entire thing. So with that being said, this will never happen again. I'm not doing Pointillism for the rest of this challenge. This is too much time. I'm actually currently working on another Pointillism project, and I've been working on it for 3 months at this point, and it's a lot. And this is when I decided, you know what, let me work on this off camera and I'll see you all tomorrow. And it was like literally the next day, and I had also decided to do the second page, which is why it took even much longer. And then while I was working on the second page, I was like, ooh, maybe I want to like make it a little bit more creative. I also, what I wanted to do was, you know, continue on with adding my little OC character in it. So that's why I drew in a rocket ship, because my character is actually going to be sitting in it, looking around going, wow, so cool. And also it gave me a little bit more of a chance to like test out little different things, like for example, like style, line work, and you know, thinness, boldness, just trying to like different little things and like different styles being meshed in together. Overall, I do like the spread and how it turned out, but just how it was being created and how I went about making it, I should not have. And this is the part where I decided, because I don't have anything on that page behind it, I decided to go get my big black Sharpie. I love this Sharpie just because like it has such a thick chisel point, and I did an entire background of it, and I figured it would be like a nice contrast, considering on one side I really can't do that, but on this side I could totally do it. And I went all out for it. It was scribble, scribble, scribble. I really enjoy using this marker. The only problem I do have with it though is I can't control it because it has such a huge chisel tip. So it got onto my line work, it kind of bled through, and so my little rocket ship fins are a little bit uneven now, and they're a little messy, just because as I was coloring it in, I wasn't, you know, being as careful as I should have coloring it all in. So I think what really inspired this piece for me was back in September, the first or second week of it, I was outside with my boyfriend and we were looking at stars, and I could have swore this was a thing that was just moving, like the star had moved, but apparently it was just a star that wasn't. My head was moving. And me and my partner, we had a like huge argument about it, being like, no, this star is moving. And like for a week after that, we would actually go sit outside to like prove it, but because I couldn't remember what star it was, I wasn't able to win the argument. And then after filling that all in, I decided to go ahead and do thin lines on all of the fins and on the head of the ship, just to, you know, give some dimension and give it like a little bit variety, because I didn't want anything to be like, you know, flat. Basically, I wanted it to be very designy. This is how I work with my Zentangles. If I do a Zentangle, I really like, pattern wise, I'm not that very like amazing, and I don't have like very like bright ideas, but like line work and just making it very contrasting. I like to say that I'm a little like good at that, at least. And here I decided to add some, like, because the ship looked a little bit too blank and I didn't want to like add like pointillism or stippling to it, I decided to add like some stripes, just some racer stripes across the fins to the head, across the window and everything, and I think that really was like a little nice addition. I was gonna like color them in to be black, but then I realized that may have not been a good idea. And yes, this coloring is technically considered cheating, but I did want to include my character into the prompt as well as I could, and instead of what I originally was going to do, you just didn't have room for it, I decided to just incorporate him into the little rocket ship. And that's just my cute little OC enjoying galaxy as we know it. And there's me adding some last minute touches. I'm adding lines as shadowing rather than stippling or getting a pencil shader out. and I think that kind of helped it, like especially when you're doing cross hatching on like the rocket ship. And then I had to go back to the first page and finish what I was going to do. Considering I couldn't color it in, but with moon, I wanted to add in like the black circle because the moon does not, you know, look like a crescent moon and there's no stars behind it. So I filled it in with black pen. And then again, this was another part where I had to turn off the camera because this was just taking way too long. I don't know why I try to like take on like these huge projects when it's like just supposed to be like a daily thing. Like they're supposed to get this all done in the day, but like in my brain it's like, no, make it as pretty as you can with what you have. And with an ink thing, it just, I don't know. And then this is where I made the sun and the moon look like how I draw out my suns and my moons and like my mood tracker from January. I added little lines to give the, what is it called, solar, I think they're called solar frames. I'm gonna call them a solar frame to give it a dimension and make it like a little bit wavy. I didn't do anything to the actual sun just because I wanted to leave it blank. And then after this is done, I went on to the moon and I just added like the signature thing that I do with mine, which is I add the two, I think I'm gonna call them brackets that go across the top tip, and then on the bottom it's one, and then I added a little crater and then the 3 dots, and then I'm getting ahead of myself, but I do add details. And then I came in with a white Posca pen and I added the final details to everything, which was the little hanging, I'm not exactly sure what I called it, but I just, like, it's a little hanging ball. And then on this page, because it was a little blank, I did go in with the white Posca and I added stars, and I also added in a little bit of like little smaller dots after I was done filming. And then on the very, very top, I added the, you know, the hashtag and what day it was. And this is the final product. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of this. I love how it turned out. I understand there was a smudge right there, but we're gonna ignore it. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye!